Well, welcome back, everyone. Returning from our labor discussions. And with that, we will start with Travis.
Travis Adams, Mason County Administrator. So the first thing up is Stephen, how do you pronounce that last name? Huford came in and talked to me about Habitat for Humanity and what he's doing as the new director, and I thought that perhaps the board would like to hear what was going on with his organization and inform the public about that, and the chair agreed that would be a good idea. So,
That's right.
Stephen, come on up, sit at the table.
Present from where is it?
Right there.
Take your
Take
pick.
a seat.
Right there works. All right.
She's the least violent of all of us. Actually, I'm lying. We are.
I'm happy to be with all of you
Yeah.
today.
Thanks, sir.
I hopefully had a chance to look at the materials we sent out in advance. So I'll just kind of headline a few things, and then if there's any questions, I'd love to talk it through with you. So again, my name is Stephen Huford, brand new with Habitat for Humanity, coming up on 4 months. So yeah, my background is kind of varied. Worked in a nonprofit, kind of faith-based world for many years, 20s and 30s, and then ended up moving to a farm in West Lewis County, where I am still, but trying to relocate close to Shelton to raise my kids, basically. So they're all out of the house. So I started looking around, spent a little time with the state in emergency management and grant management, disaster recovery, as well as fire management. And then just really realized I wanted to look for a position where I could interact with the community more. So, and just jumped at this Habitat job when I looked. So, as you may well know, Habitat's been involved in Mason County for 30 years. This is our 30-year anniversary. We'll be having kind of a formal celebration for that in October. We built 41 houses, about a house and a quarter, house and a half a year, depending, in those 30 years. Touched a lot of families, built a number of homes. We also do home preservation where we repair, and in recent years, most frequently put in accessibility, mainly ramps, that kind of thing. And we've impacted 450 plus homeowners, families through that program. Roughly, we estimate about 80,000 volunteer hours that we've kind of tracked over those years. So a nice impact. Our Habitat grew out of the traditional model of Habitat, where folks often from local congregations came together. It's kind of been fun to look back at the old newsletters, doing bake sales, selling tacos at events to raise money. People donated. We even had someone in the community donate the entire cost of a house. So really grassroots raised it and so on. And that model is good and wonderful. But what Habitat across really across the country is looking at is how do we increase our impact. Some habitats have moved faster into that than others. We did move in about 4 years ago to doing what we call third-party mortgages. So we no longer held the mortgages for our property. We worked with other lenders to facilitate that. But other than that, we hadn't really stepped up and into some of the new, both innovative approaches and tapped into some of the resources, both at the state level, to some degree the federal level, and even with Habitat International, which is essentially national, is part of that. But they have a lot of sources, both in terms of support and resources, as well as funding. So there's a lot of ways we can essentially do more, and there's a lot at our disposal to do more. So when you see the increase in our impact, we've done 41 homes in 30 years. My hope is we'll do 45 homes in the next 5 years. Don't tell anyone, but I'm hoping that's actually conservative. It's not about being huge, but it's about being efficient. It's about tapping into resources at the state level that our residents and our community contribute to those funds. And we haven't always tapped into those and asked for them back into our community in terms of affordable housing. So we're really stepping back, taking a big look, and engaging the network of Habitat. I don't have a housing background directly, but again, not 20-some years in the nonprofit world. But what drew me to this, as I started to look into this position, was that Habitat network. So Habitat International in terms of training, resources, support, and then about 20, I can't remember the exact number, 23, 24 states have state-level Habitat. So Habitat Washington, which is they support, really the bulk of the energy goes into small affiliates. So we would call like a chapter or affiliate. Mason County is an affiliate. The amount of resources that we can tap into as a small Habitat, we can bring expertise from decades of experience, and I can speed our process up probably 10 years, because before I would have that expertise in-house in my own affiliate. in my own staff team. So some very exciting things happening. We're working closely with a couple affiliates, Seattle King County, making some connections at East Jefferson and Clallam, leveraging and getting some both free support and also contracting with some expertise. So for example, Seattle has a legal department, let alone, so we can go there, tap into a legal resource that understands housing, understands the state, and help us prepare and go after. We're looking at expanding home preservation, not just new construction. And we're actually going after a grant, which I think I'd say we have a very strong chance to get. It's tied to Habitat International, but also connects to HUD. And it will be someone to coordinate and grow that program. So again, hopefully we're going to work closely with the City of Shelton, with the county, with other communities, and basically for qualified individuals, mainly senior citizens, mainly lower income or disabled, our veterans, we can go in and assist. Again, we've traditionally, in recent years, just done ramps. We'll go in and do aging in place improvements, whether that's grab rails, all the way up to a full bathroom remodel. Some of that work doing directly ourselves, some contracting with other folks. And then our goal is to also be involved all around the county. So we have a property we own right now in Shelton. That's going to be hopefully our next build site. Everything seems to be lining up. But I'm working hard to find property in North Mason so that our next larger scale build will be in North Mason. So the goal is that everyone in Mason will hopefully see our trucks running around and will feel free to call us and reach out to us. The goal is ultimately behind all of this is how do we build a sustainable model? Habitat's had some wonderful banner years, some struggling years. We had some challenges this last year from a cash flow standpoint. My goal is to build a model that's sustainable and can ride out those highs and lows as a natural part of the business cycle. So I'm very excited about what lies ahead, and I feel like we have this amazing network as a Habitat in Mason County in terms of larger Habitat. A couple key things, and you can tell I can talk up a storm, so I'll try to make sure I leave a couple minutes for questions. I mentioned partnering with Habitat Washington and Habitat affiliates. We're also looking at two things that many habitats, not all, are going to. The most common would be the ground lease. So we've all heard of ground leases, you think Lake Cushman, but this is different. This is we put property into a community, in our case, we're looking at the second part of that as a community land trust, but that's really a philosophy as much as it is a legal entity. So within our own 501c3, we can bring those ground leases in with some change of our bylaws, which we're looking at doing. You essentially, in our case then, if we all goes well, the land trust holds that land forever, and we sell the house. So not unlike a condominium you'd buy, on a simplistic level, you'd buy a condominium, and it's a 99-year lease renewable. It doesn't expire, it doesn't go away. Like you could pass that house that built on a Habitat property with the ground lease multiple generations. But when you sell what you've agreed to at the front end for getting this house at really a fraction of its value, you commit to helping us keep that affordable. So there's bars and controls on how much appreciation can be captured at the sale of that house. That person can sell that house on the open market, but with our conditions of the ground lease. We also then, kind of long term, anyone that invests in us, makes a donation to us to help us buy that land, to help us build that house. That land and house is stewarded by Habitat and the Community Land Trust, ideally forever. So those dollars aren't lost. When we get some government subsidy to help down payment assistance, for example, or build construction subsidies, those stay in the community. Those benefit our community. Again, forever is a relative term, but you get my gist. And then I mentioned the land trust is as much a philosophy. It's the idea that we come together. The board of directors is made up of homeowners themselves, is made up of community leaders, is made up of Habitat staff, or key members, not necessarily staff. And we steward that. So as someone ages and they don't have the resources to fix that roof, we don't let that house degrade. Community resources tied to the land trust would come in and help maintain that house. So it on multiple levels, it supports that housing, it keeps it affordable, and it allows it to be, again, recycled with another family. What's very interesting, there's a community land trust in Portland, Oregon called Proud Ground. They have 500 houses across Oregon that are in their land trust. What they found, the majority of people that sell out of that land trust go into the mainstream housing market. Even with a land trust, they capture enough equity, allows them to buy up and in. So it isn't a static thing. It doesn't lock people in. You can stay in that home or on that piece of property as long as you want. But it's just a very interesting way of leveraging limited dollars and dealing with a very challenging housing market. The last piece, and then I'll stop for now. We're looking at leaning really hard at it's what they call hybrid product between modular and panelized construction. There's a movement, or not a movement, that sounds political, it's not political. The state funded it, but then unfunded the implementation of it. It's called the Washington Starter Home Project. And the goal is from beginning to end to streamline construction through multiple ways. But part of it is pre-permitting at the state level and ideally then into the county and the city level. So we shorten that permit time. We build a very select group of homes so the designs are similar and replicated again and again. And then the build time, maybe a 1,200 square foot house, they can have watertight in a day. Meaning roofs on, sealed, doors are locked, boom. So your build time is easily cut in half, if not less. The cost, most people that are building housing at any volume, you're borrowing money to build that housing, so the cost of that money goes down. So these are kind of headlines, a lot going on, but they're proven in the sense that we're not going out on a limb. We have partners, we have experience, and I'm a firm believer at my age, I don't need to reinvent the wheel. Tell me what works, tell me what to avoid, and I'll go after it. So my last plant would be, we're always looking for land, especially with the land trust. That's our goal, again, is I'm gonna be on the watch, and our goal is to build a 5 to 10 year pipeline of development into the future. And land is obviously crucial to that, and none of that's getting cheaper, so I'm not waiting around on that either. So hopefully that made sense. I talk a little fast. Happy to answer any questions.
That's great. So, sorry, quick question.
Yeah.
I'm really intrigued by the land trust. So, what are they called? It's the conservation district, I think.
Great
But-
Peninsula
Yeah,
Conservation.
do you work with them?
I don't, and it's similar in the sense that you capture, buy, own land, that entity owns that, and in that case, maybe preserves it for environmental reasons, for like a lot of farmland will be put into land trusts. But the purpose of this is solely affordable housing. So it's legally, it's the same. I had someone tell me, don't ever call it a land trust because that's a way to avoid taxes. This community land trust, it's really the environmental piece would be the parallel, but the purpose is affordable housing. So everything that's done on that property is focused on affordable housing.
So I wonder if at times, because sometimes the land can become not farmable, or, you know what I mean? And so if they could let you know that maybe some of that land is open, and they would be willing to lease that, would you be open to
I
that?
will look at any piece of property you put in front of me. The challenge, not the challenge, one of the, well, it is a challenge. I've built a number of houses just personally, and I have a farm where I've done commercial and ag building, so I have some awareness over the last 20 years of that world. The challenge is how close to sewer and water. I mean, so those, especially as we're trying to not sell the value of that property. So we're definitely looking within the city of Shelton. We're looking in the urban growth boundaries of Allen and Belfair. In the perfect world too, you're near, transit, those kinds of things. But we'll look at anything. And obviously we can do septic and we can do, but it's trying to make those numbers come together.
Well, septic and drilling a well is not cheap
No.
anymore, so,
No, it is not.
well, that's great.
Yeah. Thank you.
Question?
So, there's a lot that was said today. For those that don't know, I used to be on the board of directors for Habitat for Humanity. When they were collapsed at one point, I was asked to come in and help put it back together again, and we did. The only build that there was in North Mason, I was the one that got the land donated in order to do it. So we only had one that we had there. There's a few things that I want to, since you're new, I want to point out to you so that you might notice it and maybe reconsider some of the things that you're considering.
Okay.
One of the things, I understand that now you're moving to where you're a third party. Before you were actually a bank, and you became the loan agent, and that's what it was. So you're moving away from that, which is not a bad thing because it puts more money back into your guys' pocket to be able to reinvest it. But the amount of money you sell these properties for, let's be realistic, they're being sold at a realistic price. It's not like they're getting super bargains, these people, when you're getting them to them. If you move to where it's a land trust, they're getting even less bargain. And then, because I'm also a realtor,
Yep.
so I can tell you, it does not hold the same value. It just doesn't, no matter what. But then even more than that, you're keeping part of the value when they're done. And in order to get into your program, unless things have changed and you can tell me, they qualify for USDA, FHA, and other loan amounts too. There's programs that allow for USDA, which is zero down, but we don't educate them that, because they go through a whole process to be able to get this loan in order to buy into this adventure. So with that, I want to see these people get these properties, and I want to see them build wealth. If they can't build their wealth, then in a sense, it's glorified apartments, so to speak. We want them to be able to build wealth so they can turn around, sell it, and move up the next on a ladder. But if you hold control of it, that's not going to happen. The amount that they're able to get of is going to be less. And if you're selling it for a premium, and some of these people think that they're getting in at a bargain, because it's not the same. They don't do all the work like they used to. There's lots going on. I just want to warn you that that may not turn out as well for them. And I know I'm a lot less likely to support something like that, where you guys, I would support what you were doing in the past. But again, they can get loans with zero down elsewhere, just USDA. And FHA has a program that they'll go through a class and they'll give them the ability to get the loan as well. Brush with kindness, do you guys still call it that?
So home preservation and aging in place.
Yeah, it used to have the name Brush with Kindness. Best damn
Yeah.
program that I've seen and all the things I've been involved with. The people that they've been able to help, but then like anything else goes downward, they turned into more ramps than they did everything else.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to hear that you were going back to what it was originally meant to be. When you go in, you put those rails in, you keep them from having falls, these elderly and stuff like that. You're saving money for everything from hospital visits to just keeping them safe, and they can't afford to do this stuff for themselves. If you get to the point where you can get back to doing roofs and stuff, that's gonna be even a bigger help. And I'd love to see the county help you find a way to do and invest more in it, because with that, you expend a lot of money and a lot of time.
You do.
A lot of your people have been there forever and they're not able to do what they used to do either. I'm aware of that as well. I do really like your organization, and I very much care about it. We as a commission in the past have given properties. We came close to giving some here recently as well, and I hope we will consider. I myself would not be supportive of giving it though, if you're gonna keep and own the property out from underneath them. I don't think that would be appropriate. I'm trying to build their wealth, not the wealth of your nonprofit. So just keep that in mind.
I hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, please. And other than that, it was very nice to meet you, and we'll have lunch here.
Look forward to it.
Someday soon. But I hope you will consider some of that information I just shared with you, because even though it sounds good in the beginning, it doesn't get them in cheaper. It doesn't get them in anything. It just.
I respectfully disagree a little bit, but I look forward to meeting and going over the numbers with you and the model. One of the things I included in what I mailed out was a couple articles. The one talks about the benefits of home ownership. So I would say there is a reduction in the total amount of equity a homeowner captures over time. But what studies have shown again and again, the value of home ownership translates into mental health, physical health, education, kids staying in school. So balanced with the other benefits, if we're able to impact, 10, 50, 300 houses, families, I think the benefit's still there. And as I referenced to with Proud Ground, that's a community land trust. Any community land trust has a ground lease. Not all places that use a ground lease are a community land trust. But their research shows, even not coming out of the land trust, they're moving into the mainstream housing market. It does not cripple their ability to do that. So
I don't disagree. They can move into the mainstream housing market today with the same criteria you have. So that doesn't surprise me. What I'm talking about is the value that they're able to capture when it's done.
it is different.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And, look at how much you're charging for each unit. We'll talk about that when we meet, and you'll see that you're pretty much on par. But no, and again, if there's something you see for the county that we can do to help you with brush, whatever you're calling it now, like I said, that was honestly one of the best sort of things I've seen money spent on in years. And I've seen people go through Habitat for Humanity and be able to put a kid through college because they have that money and that value. I only knew of one that started a business, and I don't remember how successful they were, but I do remember they borrowed money to start a business because they had that same ownership, so. Thank you.
So my question is, what do you anticipate is the percent that you're gonna wanna take, I'll call clawback or take back for, when, out of their equity?
So there's different models. It basically builds in, and you can do it through appraisal, relationship appraisal at buy and appraisal at sell. You can tie it to percentages of inflation and those. I mean, there's a number of different models, and I haven't settled, or our board hasn't settled on a particular format yet. But it basically caps a percent of appreciation that we captured every year of ownership. So, and historically, we have not had the kind of appreciation that we've had. I mean, in the last 20 years. I mean, Clallam County, I just happened to read an article. I mean, they're in a 5-year period, they went the average home price from $300,000 to $600,000 in 5 years. I mean, that's just unheard of, and that's everywhere across the country. Not everywhere, many places across the country. So it's a different world, and what it's trying to do in that kind of a market, those houses when sold, they just go to a market rate buyer. And granted, there is less equity in this model that goes, but there is equity. And we believe all the other benefits that go with it still make a really good package. And we do partner. I just had 2 different meetings with USDA rural housing, as well as community programs. Housing is a 3-year waiting list to even start the conversation. So some of the federal programs are good. They also come with a lot of controls and requirements. So I mean, there's Habitat interfaces. 2 of the grants we work with, Habitat partners with the federal government around to really streamline and make those efficient. So we do our best as an organization to collaborate and tap into. Washington also with the Housing Trust Fund has put a fair bit of resource into construction of affordable housing, but you have to go after it, quite honestly, and our county hasn't. So you can, and my philosophy is our county's residents and businesses paid into that fund. Let's get some back and help build some affordable housing in our county. Many other counties are doing the same. And I live in Lewis County. I served on the Planning Commission. I'm a good libertarian without getting political, as a farm owner. It's a complex world we live in. But Habitat, I think, is doing an amazing job of trying to, given the reality we face and the resources and organizations and programs out there, how do we maximize those for our impact? We have thousands of affiliates across the country. And again, 30 years, 41 houses is great, but we can do more.
So one more question. Do you anticipate the future buyer being able to buy the land out of the land trust?
So if we go this route, the land trust is forever. Now, there could be a way to dissolve it at some point in time if for some reason a community decided, or move into another entity. But no, the model is, literally it's called permanent affordability. The goal is at that. And it often is mixed. There's a Habitat in Montana that actually took on, there was a smelter. They basically reclaimed that land, cleaned it up, all the pollution. They're putting like a 500 or 600 house project in, but 100 of those will be Habitat, or 150, I can't remember the numbers, but some are going to market price, some are going, so that, like I think we've learned around affordable housing in general, mixed use. I have no desire to do any kind of density like that. Smaller, it just makes sense in our community and our county. But the goal is permanent affordability. So that house gets recycled into the affordable market. So even though it will cost more the next time, it won't be at market, unless the economy just went the other way. But in my lifetime, most of my lifetime, real estate has generally either sat still or gone up. But the goal is perpetual. That's why you do it. And I'm happy to share more details as we firm up those models, and I'm happy to meet with you, any or all of you individually.
I would love to hear when you come up with the numbers. The question that you asked, in my opinion, is the right question.
Okay.
And that is, what kind of clawback are we talking? Are we talking about, if you have a limit on how much they can make, but yet the market brings it up, are we capping them at a certain percentage?
We don't sell it at a higher amount.
Yeah.
We sell it at that reduced value to an affordable, we keep it affordable, so someone that qualifies for affordable housing can buy it. We don't keep any money.
So,
We take not a dollar. There's a ground lease fee that they help maintain the property, sidewalks, whatever. It's not really an HOA, but you could kind of look at a parallel. But we don't sell it for more. It just simply creates the bar, the highest they can sell it for, and then it gets sold to a qualified buyer for that price.
So that's interesting, because you're qualified, what's your credit rating that you're requiring, right?
So, well, I don't know right off the credit. We work with them to heal credit when needed, some of our partners, but it's the high end is 80% of area median income. Some federal programs require you to come in as low as 50%. In this economy, I mean, quite honestly, middle-class folks are qualifying for affordable housing because it's just such a skewed kind of market. But it's 80%. Most of ours, the budget we're doing for this project is 65%. So then their mortgage, they qualify within that, and there's a certain mortgage payment based on family size that they can afford. And our goal is to dial that house price to make it affordable so they will qualify at a mainstream bank at a good interest rate. There's some of the community lending, they essentially lower the interest rate. That's part of their contribution into the community. But they have to qualify based on those parameters for that mortgage.
Because the same goes with USDA.
For sure.
For those that don't know, USDA is a zero down loan for rural areas. In Mason County, even our city is considered a rural area for them, though. They don't separate out like you would Bremerton or whatever. You're allowed to get a zero down loan as a rural loan to USDA with a 30-day close.
Yeah, most of the packages we look at, whether it's through federal government, I mean, HUD has some of those programs too, but the state as well, essentially they're all zero down in terms of cash out. We structure it in such a way, but they have to qualify for the payment, insurance, taxes. I mean, you know what I mean? They still have to qualify for the other parts, but the system kind of takes the obstacles out, which often the down payment. Any of our buyers will have down payment assistance, which is essentially a 0% loan in that regard, 0% down. So.
All right. Any other questions?
Yeah.
It's
All right.
neat seeing the homes go up.
It's what?
It's neat seeing the homes
Oh.
go up.
Yeah.
There's 3 on my way to our church that you guys built, so it's perfect.
Nice.
It's awesome. It's exciting.
All right. Well, I look forward to further conversations, and I appreciate feedback, and I do not mind questions or challenge. So, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to breakfast.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Brittany, Madam Treasurer, you're up.
Oh, actually, I still got
I
2
have
more.
one.
I got John Taylor and
Forgive me.
Nicole, so.
Morning, Commissioners. Morning. We submitted an application for the Park Board.
Who are you?
Oh, you don't know. My name is John Taylor. I'm the Emergency Manager, Parks and Recreation, Parks and Trails Manager. And we submitted an application for the Parks and Trails Board. We'd like you to review that, and we'd like permission to schedule an interview for that person, if you find it reasonable to do.
Absolutely.
I support it.
That was easy.
See how easy that was?
Yeah, see ya.
Saying your name took long.
Yeah, it did. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
And I've got one alibi. I need to add Nicole on here to discuss the topic, bring back the topic from last week. And I just saw her, so I hope that she's.
I'm supportive of it. We have a copy if she's not there,
Right?
of adding that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm
No issue.
supportive.
Yeah, no issues.
No
Okay,
issues.
yeah,
That's
we'll
fine.
move that to the action agenda for tomorrow then.
Okay.
Perfect, thank you. Thanks, Nicole. Okay, now you can.
Now, Brittany.
Now, Brittany.
Good morning, Commissioners. All right. I'm just here to share. We've got the final term sheet for the Shetland Road RID. So I just wanted to present that to you and let you know that we are ready to move forward. So it looks like the final loan is $210,908.34 over a 5-year period, and they came in at a fixed rate of 3.93%. So I know we've seen many of these before, but this is we are actually to the final one now, so.
Are we not gonna be able to do any early payoff or anything, or? So do we have the amount that's gonna cost us?
The amount it's going to cost us is the 210,908.34. Oh, go ahead,
No,
Heather.
that's okay.
I'm sorry,
So
this is
that's-
Heather, she's our billing specialist, but she's here to help with questions too, so.
Yes, so the total levy will be the 210, or up, not to exceed the 210,908.34. That will be divided between the 51 parcels that are having to pay this. We don't have the full final yet. This is just the,
Yes.
they're saying it's not to exceed. Once this is fully levied, they will have 30 days to pay with no interest if they would like. Otherwise, it'll be 5 annual
Will
payments.
the loans be to each individual? Or to the county as a whole?
They will be billed to the taxpayers individually. We will produce a tax.
But I mean, the loan itself, are we on the hook for the loan, or is the taxpayer on the hook for the loan?
That is being paid back, that's already been fronted by Public Works and they'll be
That's
paying,
what I thought. So
paying that back, yes, yeah. Yes.
we'll be
Yep.
paying Public Works back, but we are the signature on the loan, not
Correct.
the individuals.
Correct,
Then we will-
yes,
okay.
that is correct.
And what I'd like to know when we're done is what's the total cost that expected at the end of payment, when it's done after the years? You know, how much
Yeah.
it's costing us to borrow?
Yeah, and I'll be down here again when I get the final loan docs as well to present to you guys. So
Thank you.
I'll have those as well, so.
And if half
once
the
we-
people pay it off within the
Right.
30 days, that's gonna have an impact.
Reduce it, yeah, that is correct, yeah. Yeah, and we anticipate, some individuals will decide to pay in full, right off. So, we don't know how many, but we do anticipate
It's
that.
definitely a reasonable
So,
amount compared,
compared to what it was,
yeah, what it
yes.
could have been.
Yeah, yeah, that's the
Yeah,
nice
that-
thing
that
about it.
rate's not horrible.
No, and the rate's really nice too. So once we sign the terms, once I sign the term sheet, turn that in, I will be putting it in the journal back to back 2 weeks in a row. And then we will be sending out the bills at that time. So we're really hoping to get this all buttoned up by September and billed by September. So that's our goal.
That's the goal, yes.
We are ready to move on. So yeah,
Good goal.
yeah. So anyways, if you don't have any other questions, that's all we had today was to share that information.
The one
So-
question I would bring up is we
Yeah.
have one particular taxpayer who's
We may have,
an issue there.
Sure.
How's that impact all of this?
well, they get billed. I know that they've already been through the appeals process. I know that was done with Public Works. At this point, what we do is we bill it, and if it is what it is now.
Okay.
So, if they pursue it, through the court system, that's another, issue that we would have to address. But at this time, they will just be getting billed as all the other, individuals will be.
If we were successful, we'd be able to go after them for the court costs as well, so it wouldn't be.
Okay.
If we didn't get the court costs and it costs us to do it, would that be spread out over everybody or just us?
Maybe
That's a
Tim
good
question.
question. That's a good question. That would be definitely a Tim question, for sure.
It could be part of the overall RID, so.
Because it's the RID that's
But if
being,
we're already finalizing the
Mhm.
assessment roll based on this amount, we're gonna eat it.
It'll be said.
that's what I thought, so just
Yep.
getting it out there.
Yeah,
Bless you.
As I said in that meeting, I believe there's a benefit, I don't know how there isn't a benefit, and
sure, yeah,
I couldn't justify
Absolutely is a
saying,
benefit.
saying there isn't, so.
yeah. Okay, all right. Well, when I have the final loan docs, I'll be down to see you with those.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank
You
you.
guys have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.
Public Works. Good morning.
Long time no see.
Yeah.
Oh, it's you.
She's been busy.
Welcome.
All right, Loretta Swanson, Public Works, Utilities and Waste Management Director.
Stephanie Berman, Finance Manager, Public Works.
Mike Collins, County Engineer, Mason County.
Okay. No, it doesn't. Okay, first up, Steffi has a water leak credit that she's bringing forward.
I don't have the bottom credit.
Oh, it's, I just have, that's all right.
Thank you.
There you go.
So we have a leak credit at Beards Cove. He fixed it once, went out and checked it, and it was still leaking. So it took 2 tries, but he finally got it done. We were able to confirm it, but it was a significant leak. So we're asking the board to approve a $4,512 leak.
This was on his side of the line.
Correct.
And we asked him to fix it, but he didn't fix it
He
correctly.
well, they went out and he had multiple, I think he had multiple leaks in the line on his side.
Found one break, basically,
Yep.
repaired that break, rather than replacing the entire line, and then.
We went back out
realized,
to check it
nope,
and realized it was still
leaking.
spinning.
You need to find another break
Yeah.
and correct that.
And this is a one-time,
They get one leak
years.
credit over a 3-year period.
Yeah.
They've been, unless we bring it forth to the board to decide differently, but every leak credit that, they fill out the paperwork, they've been made aware that they get 1 leak credit in a 3-year period. I'm supportive.
It's ouch, but
It is, that was a big leak,
It was.
yeah. Okay, next up, we have work happening. We've got lots of work happening, and so, this will require road closures.
So we have a road closure for, request for South of Coquitlam, milepost 3.01, 352, and 506 for culvert replacements. We'd like to close the last section of road all at one time, and that way we could go from culvert to culvert to culvert and make it as short as possible. So we're requesting from August 17th to September 4th, but we figure we're gonna cut that down to 2 weeks instead of 3 with the availability of the workforce and getting no traffic issues. So, and then the other one is Beeville Loop, milepost 3.82 bridge repair. That's Portman Bridge. We're requesting closure for July 20th through July 24th. That is replace the superstructure, timber superstructure. We'll replace it with a metal superstructure. So
Cool.
with our own county forces, and then rebuild the road up, raise the road a little bit, pave it, and be all done.
That's awesome.
And we'd like to put that on tomorrow's meeting if possible, so we can get it in the paper sooner than later.
Oh, I bet Mackenzie would be happy to add that to tomorrow's agenda.
Appreciate that.
I mean, I support it.
Look at her dancing with joy back there. It would certainly help in terms of providing as much notice as possible to folks about these detours, so
And it's so cool
appreciate that.
that our staff does it. We've got some pretty talented staff out there,
Yep,
so.
we do.
That's
Yes,
cool.
we do.
We
Yes.
do. And they're big culverts, so. These are only 10 footers, so not that big a deal.
So, smaller,
Small fish.
Small fish.
no orcas.
No orcas on this one.
No, not out there.
Well, eventually on South of Coquitlam, we gotta get these culverts done, there's a couple other things, and then we can actually start widening shoulders and eventually have an overlay on the whole road and improve it, so
that'll be nice.
that's where we're starting first.
Yes. Okay, and then next up, Stephanie is here to share an update on the implementation for the utility module of Munis, which has been cracking along.
Yeah.
Weekly meetings and updates, and Stephanie's been doing a fantastic job about pushing our Munis team.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, yeah.
Yep, we're looking at converting our CAM system back over to Munis
Oh, very cool.
for the utilities and waste
Great.
side. And so part of that would be operational efficiency, because we would no longer be doing dual entry, one into CAMS, one into Munis, so that'll be a big thing. But from the customer service side, it's looking at updating, just for a modern field for the customers, so they would have access to their billing information. They could set
that's
up
cool.
auto payments on their own dates. So right now they have two options, and they can pull out of their personal debit accounts, but only on the 20th or the 25th. And so they would be able to pick and choose their own dates. We would be able to, they would have access to their historical water usage. One of the things on the accounting side is we manually go in and review accounts to make sure that water usage didn't spike from one month to the next, and we are manually reaching out to people through, reviewing the information in Excel spreadsheets. So we're looking forward to software that does it automatically.
So cool. And we've got the resources, so I love that we're using Munis a lot more.
Yeah.
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 Yep.
So right now, we're in the creation phase. We're giving them all the information, and they're building our statements and our other forms. We're getting all our charges in. And so we're hoping to go live in Q1 of next year. Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yes, yeah, and it really takes a good team on our side. Stephanie has gone through how many software implementation changes in her career? And so somebody who knows that and knows what to expect and what the hitches may be is of tremendous value. And like I said, she's been doing a fantastic job in just keeping the ball not only rolling, but rolling fast.
The big thing is
definitely
knowing that
appreciate that.
you go live and you're gonna have glitches, and you just roll with it and keep going and make them better. So when that goes live, you could probably have 95%. By that point, you've tested everything, and you'll have a few things that might hiccup, but knowing you just roll with it and move forward, make it better.
That's exciting.
It is exciting, yes, and definitely, as Steph pointed out, better customer experience, but it should also help in some degree with workload alleviation and free Stephanie and her team up to do other things.
So we're double entry.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yep,
And use the computer for what it's good for.
Exactly.
That sort of stuff,
Yeah.
providing history, and it's great information for the customer.
yes, yeah. So that is all we had, I think. Any other
Beards
updates,
Cove
Mike?
started today.
Oh, yeah.
Water
Yes,
line
yes.
replacement. We're working right now with the city of Shelton paving some of their roads today. And striping's going on. We've been striping, not last week, but the week before, so we're down the southwest area of the county, and we'll be moving over towards Camilche and coming back up north towards Arcadia, doing our own striping, so
That's cool.
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. I love that you're working with the city. Makes a difference.
Yes.
Excellent. Any questions?
All right.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you very much.
thank you, commissioners.
Oh, and the 302 speed display sign got ran over a day after it was put up.
Oh, no.
Now, they said it was put in a different place than when Jay said he was gonna have. it
Dave will
put
have to
in.
get back, he's back on Monday, so we will order the new one,
Yeah.
and we'll have to figure that out
We'll
before
put
we
it in a
put it
place
back
where
up.
they can't just hit it on purpose?
Well, they actually
It
went up
wasn't hit on purpose.
on
You don't think it was
purpose.
hit on purpose?
It went up the bank, crossed the ditch, up the bank, went through a driveway, went across the road, went in the other ditch, and then came back out,
If they did,
so.
I would say that was not on purpose.
yeah, that was.
All the neighbors called were saying they thought it was on purpose.
Some
That's why-
Mad
but
Max
that's
driving.
that's almost possible.
Yeah, that's what the tracks showed, so
Yeah.
it's
Crazy.
quite interesting.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, what else we got here? Budget workshop. Would the commissioners like to take a break before we jump into this? At all?
Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay. Take 5-10 minutes. Yep. Right. We will take a 5-minute break and be back. Welcome back, everyone. We are going to open up a budget workshop. I will start. Last week, Randy, you kind of threw me a curveball, and I wasn't ready for that. I thought we were talking about 2027. Turned out to be 2026. I swung and missed. I don't think we have any time to make any changes to 2027. We have to have a public hearing, and we're already in July. So I think if I have the support, we will switch our discussions to 2027.
Well, I already know you have the support for this, and we wouldn't be talking about it. I made it very clear the last time we had the discussion, and we talked about it over and over again. If you watched the meeting, we talked about it over and over again, that we're talking 26, and we separated it out 3 or 4 times. So
Right.
I'm not
At the
surprised
end.
that we're back to this. I think it's a mistake. Anything we don't take care of now, we can't spend it twice. But again, it is what it is, and I'm only one vote, and I'm down with that. And we'll focus on the 27.
Good. So, Jen, I will ask you to give us a little brief overview.
Okay, what would you like an overview of?
What the range would be of your projections for beginning fund or ending fund balance, I guess, accurately stated.
Ending fund balance for 2026. So what I have projected using the prior 7 years' actuals is 6.44% in revenues over what we budgeted, and then 9.65% under expenditures that we have budgeted. That is the average of the prior 7 years. There is another estimate that I gave that is 1.18% and 7.46% respectively. And so the first estimate, if we use the 6.44% and the 9.65%, the ending cash balance estimate is $23,607,509 using budget to actual. And the more conservative estimate would be $19,064,261. And again, those are just estimates. It could come in higher or lower. But so far through May, we are on track with where we have been in past years. So I think it will come in somewhere within that range. I mean, we are halfway through the year now. I do not have June numbers for you yet. Those will be coming out shortly.
Okay. I had pulled out that information from what she presented last Monday, just so you have a copy. But I'll leave
That's the
that
last
one.
2 columns.
Yeah, it's just the last 2.
I can have this one? Or
Yeah,
it's not in my packet.
You can have, no, it's what I pulled. It was from last week's
It was on the
presentation.
Excel spreadsheet.
It's just the last 2 that seem to be the pertinent numbers. Worst case scenario and the average of the last 7 years. So this would be what the average has been, and that was be the lowest that we were over the past 7 years. So just so you have that.
On your averages for the 7 years, as we know, that did not work very well last year. We should be at 25 million using those philosophies that you used for last year. What is it the last couple of years?
The last couple of years, it was, and just to be clear, I did not state during the budget hearing the highest number possible.
Okay, you
But I had
presented me with a
estimated.
paper that said 25 million. That
Yeah,
was
the
delivered to me
paper.
in the in the hearing, not in a briefing, never saw it, never discussed it, to have any discussion. It was actually delivered in a hearing, which
Okay.
was inappropriate, but that said we're gonna be at 25 million, and that's what the discussion was
Yeah, I
between
just
the
wanted to
commissioners.
clarify. Thank
Okay,
you.
but, okay, so are you saying I
So-
didn't have that document, or you did?
No, I'm saying that you had that document. I'm
Okay.
just saying that publicly I did not state that during the hearing.
Okay, I'm more confused, but that's all right, go ahead.
Okay, so the last 2 years, so 2025 was at 6.14% revenues actual over budget. And then the expenditures were 13.09% under budget. That was 2025. 2024 is 6.4% revenues over budget and 10.43% expenditures under budget.
Thank you.
That should be in your packet. It's this document.
For some reason,
Or is that the Excel?
oh, it's on the back page.
Yeah, you've got that. And then 23, it's 674. Actual over on revenue and 8.29 under. So that goes back 3 years.
Now, where have we done any numbers for, because we're closed out of May. Do we have any new numbers for
For June.
June?
I have not gotten an email yet that June is closed. So I'll have those to you.
We had a
shortly.
holiday, so yeah.
Yeah.
Shortly.
Yeah, I think we just got that email saying that it was,
Oh, okay, I hadn't seen
no,
that.
not that we have numbers yet, but.
And then 2023, if you're interested in that, it's, the numbers are 6.74% revenues actual over budget, and then 8.29% expenditures under budget.
And so the 27, what would be the projected amount we would, at the end of the year, sorry? Let's see, projected end of funding balance would be 19 million.
Well, that's just one scenario for 2026. I have not projected out for 2027 yet,
Okay.
since we don't
Right.
even have the budget yet.
Yeah, what that would be our lowest year of the past 7.
Mhm.
Worst year we had, 2020.
Since 2019, 2020.
So you look at the percentages
Mhm.
there, and apply it to
Yep.
that. So, worst case over the last 7 years. And then the other one is the average. I think I pointed at the wrong numbers, but
That's okay. Yeah, I got it.
you got the right idea.
All right, so what we need to do is decide how much we want to target for, or are we at that point yet?
Well, certainly we can start that discussion, where we're trying to me, it comes back to what our reserve policy says. And if we are going to live by our reserve policy of 15 to 25% in real dollars, that comes in at 15 million to 20 million, roughly. It's an average. So in the worst year over the last 7 years, if we apply those numbers, we still fall in right where we're supposed to be, between 15 and 20 million. In the average over the last 7 years, we're at 23 million. I don't remember the total number. You've got it over there. That's okay.
23,
Yeah,
67.
23.6. So I tend to think we're gonna be below the average, but I don't think I also don't think we'll be at the worst that we've been in 7 years.
Oh, I don't think so either. So in this budget workshop, are we gonna start coming up with recommendations of how to limit our expenses?
I'd like to throw in mine 2 cents on this.
Sure.
Also. I am not as much concerned with our policy. That's become an argument in the community or for this table and stuff like that. That's not where my concern is. My concern is of the leakage with dollars. And the leakage of the dollars is very large and it grows exponentially year to year. When you lose 1 million, you lose 2. You lose 2, it grows again. The leakage that we will have at the end of this year will again become huge the next year. Especially if we also understand that we have a $1.2 million increase that comes by doing nothing at all. I mean, just automatically with the increases. So we can focus on this stuff and see if we end up with a happy place. But each year that we do nothing and just cut it to that level, it will come close to picking up at least another third on being conservative, if not half or up to double on the worst case scenario. So those are where my concerns are. It's the same concerns I had last year and the year before. Luckily for us, we did something great at the end of the year. We pulled off, we held off. We did pass the budget and then we did a change that decreased our amount that we'd be looking at now by about $1.5 million. Maybe it could, on the best case scenario, 2, but I think it was about $1.5 million is how I looked at it. That's something we have to account for today. If we don't take that into account, we will be paying for it again the next year though. So I agree with, we need to be looking at the cuts in order to stay. I'm gonna make clear again, I'm not gonna be voting for, you guys can, but I'm not gonna vote for a tax increase. We've added 50+ employees since 2017. No other company is doing that around here. We've been excessive and we need to live within our means. I'm very much, I don't hide the fact that I'm a fiscal conservative. I am. I need to have a budget that at least doesn't keep drying up, because as somebody that's been here a long time, I do remember what that's like when it does happen, because then you can't stop it. Then you're making up the money, and I don't know how to do that with as big of an impact as this could be in the next few years. We only had to make up a couple million when it happened. I don't know. So those are my fears, those are my worries, and I hope that we take into account the size of the deficit we can start dropping out of the monies we have, regardless of the policy. We can change the policy. Anytime we want, that's our right. We can change it within the law, of course.
Sure.
Well, honestly, I'm not as concerned with the policy either. We all know that we need to work on dropping or not increasing our expenses, but making them better. So I thought that that's why we were doing the 27 budget workshops. So if we can get back to that opportunity for us to work on next year's, let's do it. And we've done pretty good in the past, so no reason we can't move forward.
Well, I still have not a concern over the policy, but I look at the policy as we have been hoarding cash, and it's the taxpayers' money. So when I go into, pick a department, and say, you know, we are not doing our job in cleaning up some of the derelict properties or whatever it is, the constant drumbeat I get is we don't have the money, we don't have the people. Now, that may be a management problem, I can't define that, but when we have excessive cash, how do I justify the fact that we don't have the money?
We can do both. We won't have the money when we don't have the money, it'll be gone. But we have our priority of duties, things that we decide are the top priority and things that we decide are not. But until we get to the point where we start looking at that and making the adjustments, we're just gonna keep paying for the pitfall, and we're not gonna have the money because we're leaking huge millions a year, and it will be a bigger chunk of millions the next year. I am all for, I think you and I even agreed on that I'm for expending money in that department because we need to close that down. I don't know of much things that I think are more important right now. And if there was money savings done here, I would expect there's expenditures there. That may not be the perfect world, because it'd be nice if we could just fix everything by cutting the budgets, but the truth is, there's a reprioritization that is always necessary. This is one of those places I think a reprioritization is more than necessary. I think it would be appreciated by our public. Because I'd love to see it actually get cleaned up.
Well, I'm of the philosophy that I don't want to raise taxes as well. It may be necessary, but I won't go there easily. But the way that you take care of these things in private business is you have two options. You make cuts or you grow your revenue. Well, there are two ways to grow the revenue. Grow the economy is what my goal is. And to do that, we have to start cleaning up Mason County. So if we're going to get that return from cleaning up the county, then we're going to need to spend some money doing that. So that's my whole philosophy, having to do with more revenue. More revenue comes with growth. That's just the way I see it.
And I'm sure you know this, though, that even the growth that we do get today, we won't get anything
Right,
from
takes
the
a
next
while.
year. Yeah, the next year. And even then, it's odd because the state purposely left us out of the growing the economy thing at the counties. Why? It's kind of odd because they had ports and but literally it's not part of our charter, but I, like you, I think it is part of our responsibility, even though it's not part of our charter. And I would like to do that. But again, I don't think we will always be able to say, you know, we'll need tax money if we keep spending. But if we have the ability to fix some of the leakage, then we don't have to raise the taxes. We can wait for the growth. We just don't have to. I've been here too long. I see too many things that we've added and we've expended. During our roughest time, we went from 9 directors down to 3. Now, it was hard, but we not only did it, we were successful in doing it. There's other ways of doing this, but it's hard decisions that come. You know, we've got different departments that didn't even exist, but yet, not only do they exist, they've grown exponentially. Again, that's our decision when the time comes. I don't think we disagree. I think we actually are agreeing on this stuff. It's just how to get there. But I can't go out to the public and ask for taxes when I think that we're not doing our job first to cut it.
You and I would agree. I think Commissioner Trask would also agree.
If we need money, there's ways that we can cut expenses. You come up with some pretty good options, and I think I'd like to start talking about options. Narrative is great. Let's start talking numbers and the options. I haven't heard anybody say anything other than me last time saying public safety sales tax. That goes before the people. If they want it, that's great. If they don't, then we find other ways to move things around. So we've got juvenile detention. I think that's a conversation that we should definitely bring it up. I think it's either 1.3 or 1.7 million dollars a year that it
1.7.
costs us. And we have an average of 1.3 kids in there. Many times it's empty. So there's other things that we could do to fix that, or that's one of the options that we could have. Other options might be, and I really don't want to do that, but the furlough days, because then we're taking services away from our people, but it might be something that we have to come up with. Another option might be, when we talk about our budgets every year and we start, what's it called, maintenance, if we just freeze, and which we did last year, we froze the maintenance level amounts for every department. We could do that again. And I don't know how much that would save us, but maybe you could figure that out for next time.
Yeah, I can try to figure that out. I mean, it's roughly, you know, if we add on 2.5%, it was like 1.2 million onto the 2026 budget. I went back and looked at how much in PLRs we've added over the last 3 years, so 23 to 25, and it's roughly $1 million a year. So, yeah, if we didn't add anything through PLRs, that's $1 million that we're.
And many times we don't need to do the PLRs.
Yeah.
I think it would be helpful from a staff standpoint, and we don't have to have the answer today, but to just have a understanding of what that target is for 2027, either increases in revenues or cuts in expenses, and what that means to you. And if there's an agreement on that, we can come together on probably numerous different packages that you could consider or cut apart and put back together in ways that you think are appropriate. But without actually knowing what that looks like, it makes it very hard for us to kind of piecemeal something together, at least from my perspective.
That makes sense. I don't know how we're gonna increase the revenue, other than maybe if you guys wanna go out and start dancing on the corners and with a brown bag, I don't know.
Won't even get a quarter. Well, he might.
But I think that if we work on
Find.
deciding how much we wanna cut from our expenses, I think that would be a great first step.
So, I agree, and that's why last time I thought we were gonna look at 2 million this year and 2 million, but we do have to focus, if we do agree to do it, then we have to stick with it on our next meeting, please, and we'll start to move forward.
For 27.
Yeah, huh?
For 27.
For 27. I do wanna say that I have presented over the last year or two different ways to try and make cuts. We haven't taken them into consideration much. We did it the very last day, and on the other, we saved $1.5 million, but you said we haven't given ideas. I have a lot more, but I've already learned also that if I do that, I'm just gonna get beat up or killed for it. If we get a place where we're working together, we can try to make some of these things happen. I'm down, I'll take the chance again. This is even before this, I've been getting beat up for years. When we had the big cuts, I had to stand there and take it all. That's just the way it worked.
That's the point of having these discussions early.
I agree.
It's really what we're trying to.
But we have to look at, if we're gonna look at it, we have to look at real numbers and real cuts, because it's gonna be exponential. Not just, the sad part is, we save money this next time, from what we normally cut. The bow wave is just smaller. We're not gonna, to get to even, at least, even if we grew, we're not gonna get to even. But we have to look at maybe reorganizations, how to do it. We've done it in the past, and we were successful. Those are hard decisions.
So if we don't, if I'm not hearing, I guess what I'm looking for would be a list of things. Maybe each one of us comes up with a list of ideas, and then we present them at these meetings, we talk about them, and then move forward. I feel like we're wasting each other's time just sitting here and not saying, this is what we wanna work on, and this is how we can get there. I just feel like we're spinning our wheels.
Well, you brought up one example, the juvenile detention.
Mm-hmm.
So I've reached out to the judges, and talked to them.
Good luck.
Well, I have agreement from 50%. And I have the opening to discuss it with 2 of them that would like to meet with Travis and I to discuss what the impacts are and things like that. I'm sure you can guess which 2. They object to the idea, but are willing to.
Well, and one of the reasons
about it.
why is because I also have had conversations where I just spit it right out what I think. I think if they have to cut their department, they've got 2 choices. They're gonna either have to cut their leadership or their administration, or they're gonna have to give up on the juvenile and change that to a different structure so we can capture those savings. But you can't do that until we get to the point where we're starting to talk about those things as a commission. But no, I don't hide that. how
I think that's
feel.
been a goal for, oh, geez,
I know.
ever since I've been.
And I think the cuts are that opportunity, because if we're doing cuts, if we're actually doing them, then they're gonna wanna give that up in order to save the other. If not, then we still save it through administration. But either way, that's what has to happen, and it makes the thing easier. I happen to, we always talk about, Grace Harbor and the partnerships. Just came up just recently, just accidentally, because they're going through the same thing in, Kitsap County. But they may be able to contract for us, which may save different money and make them money, because they're having such a huge,
Oh, it was Kitsap and Thurston, I think that we were looking at contracting with, because
Yes.
depending on what side of the county you're on,
Mhm.
the ones that are up north would go to Kitsap, and the ones down here would go to Thurston.
the only problem that we have is we have so few, you know, so.
We have 1.3.
But, you know, if we were to enter into a contract for a couple $100,000 for them to house anybody that we give them, they still will make money compared to what it is, because their economy of scale, they're averaging 5. And they are much
Kitsap
larger
or
than us.
Thurston?
Kitsap,
Because I think Thurston's much higher than that.
yeah, but so their economy of scale is broken as well. Having a couple $100,000 go towards them may be just enough, but we'd still have to keep some type of a structure, because we still have to be able to watch them overnight if we had to. We still have to be able to deliver, or we enter into a contract for them, which we haven't looked at that. I haven't breached that with the commissioner, because that's further down the line. First, we gotta get closer to see what that looks like, and then see if we enter, and who wants to make the best deal with this.
Well, I know Thurston was eager, they wanted to do it, and if you're talking to the Kitsap ones, we're halfway there.
Yep.
Like,
But they have to want to give that up, because we're not gonna be able to take it from the judges. That isn't how it works. There's a provision that allows for it. They're gonna have to
That's
wanna
why
work
it's
with
a
us. I know you
discussion.
did, yeah. But we're in the position to do that, because of the cuts. There's just too much that's wasted money there.
Well, and the programs that the others offer for the juveniles, amazing.
That's a good point. So it's
So
better for our
not
kids.
just- It's not just a money savings for us, it's for the kids too, because they've got peers that come in and talk to them, they've got the education, they've got so many benefits, it's amazing, it's so cool. And then if you're worried about transportation to and from, for the families, we have free bus service. There's ways. But I really wonder how many times you get family members coming in to see the kids. Now okay, I'll get off that one. But, yep, that's a big one. If we could save on that, even salaries, I think it was 700,000.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
But I really doubt that's gonna happen unless we say that this is the amount or an area we have to cut. And we can make the negotiation with the different departments at that time. Because I, again, also being a commissioner, I don't wanna pretend that I'm gonna make those decisions. These are elected officials. I just wanna work with them and do it, but I need to know that I'm gonna get, we got one here. I think I need one, I'm just gonna say, I need one from, the clerk's office. I need, from the judges, we need administrative, because theirs is much larger than a regular one. They've got many different departments. We have to get to the point where we say that. And even then, we're gonna be shocked how little money that's actually gonna bring us. So it just makes the bleed less, but it won't save us.
Well, let's work on those scabs.
If we were for, again, I said 2 million was for this year. The truth is, I think we need 2 and 2, but if we found in the middle and went to a 3 million cut within the general fund, and we find a way to do it, and then we find a way to offset those, by the way. I don't just wanna cut. I've been around long enough where I know that we need to expand our view on how to do things and try to look for other places to get the revenue. We've done some of that with REIT already, but we have more we could do with REIT. We have I have some ideas with the 09 funds, but we also have to flesh them out. But
So
we gotta
let's-
find a number first.
So can we stop talking and maybe next week or whenever we decide to have another meeting, everybody come up with a list of things that you think that we can, the things that we wanna cut, or the ways that we can save money. Cause right now, we're just sitting here talking about, what
It's
is
true,
possibilities.
but it's the only way we can have this conversation, is if we.
I know, but if we all make lists, we can come back and present those lists to each other,
Yeah, I'm
and
okay
then we
with
can talk about them.
I'm okay with it.
You okay with that?
One of the things you may want to consider, just, because, again, I'm not afraid to put the list out. I did last time. I actually put a list and I took the beating for it a little bit, but maybe we share it with our administrator. Our administrator shares it and has certain conversations so we can flesh out some of this stuff before we scare people.
So if we do it in 2 weeks, that gives our administrator plenty of time to research and maybe put them together.
For sure. I've already been working on an entire list of things that I think are viable for one reason or another, and I will take all the input on other things and compile it into potential packages that you could think about, or you can parse them out however you'd like to. I can put it in a compiled list with potential dollar amounts next to it. I'm happy to structure it in whatever way best makes it so that you can pick from the panoply of options.
So when would you want those lists? As soon as possible?
Well, if the meeting's gonna be in 2 weeks, sometime this week would be fantastic. That would give me the next week to get after that.
Well, and the one thing to bear in mind, well, we gotta be careful how we do it, but if it doesn't stand a snowball's chance in hell, it's no use in scaring everybody with it. So that's why,
Yeah, and I've heard that there's been a lot of talk out there trying to scare people, so I appreciate that. And
Well-
I think that we should just come up with our options and make sure they're viable.
and again, I know I've talked a lot about it because I've been trying to bring attention for quite a while. I'm not gonna hide the fact that I have. But I do not talk
I think we-
specifics with them
I
because,
think we all talk
yeah, I'm
about
saying,
it, so.
but just in case that's what we're getting, because I don't talk specifics. I just don't, because I don't know what those departments are gonna do. It's up to them to help us get that
Well,
number.
I don't wanna scare staff. I don't wanna scare our public. So if we can come up with some good options that are viable, that's the way to go.
So do we want to each look at how to get to a specific savings? Or you want to just throw a couple things down a piece of paper? I'd like for us to say, how do we get to 3 million, and you get up to give me 3 million, you give me 3 million, I give me 3 million. We all look together and take the ones that are best to get there.
It's certainly fine to set a target goal, and I'm okay with that, but, I mean, the one thing that I will pursue is this meeting with the judges. And Travis, we'll see if we can't get that hammered out, because that's an area that we see a 1 million, 1.2 million, you know, some kind of number like that we're talking about savings.
I'm just giving a swag at it, but I think of the actual savings we might, and they disagree with me by the way on this, but the actual savings might be closer to about 700, 500 to 700, but that's a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
but I don't know.
That's 5, 6.
I was
4 or
guessing
5
that,
people.
the cost of 700,000
Yeah.
after we
Yeah.
do this, well, that's a
Nope.
million savings.
I always go conservative. I would rather have the million savings, but
Yeah, I don't know.
And
You know, there's gonna be costs associated with it we can't see, so
and how much do we have to keep here by law to be able to have somebody on staff that's low body?
Overnight, because we will have to have overnight.
Yeah.
Let's shoot for, I would say let's shoot for 2.
That means that we save 800,000 over this year. That's it. 1.2 million is automatic coming on, so that's to me, that's not a cut. That's not even realistic for saving us at all. We'll be raising taxes within a couple of years at best. I don't wanna raise taxes. I'd like to see us at least, you know, do a serious, you know, 3 million. If we're talking about, we're not gonna do nothing at all this year. We're gonna bleed that. At least have a minimum of 3 million that we have to do for the whole time.
Okay, so you said 3, I said 2.
I'm still saying, I'm okay with a $3 million target, but that's, you know, we don't have to get, what we can come up with is what we can come up with. What is the timing associated with getting if we were to put this out to the public for public safety?
To get it on the ballot?
Well, I mean, I would have to talk to the auditor's office about what the election timeline is, but that's as much of a question about how much you want to spend time educating the public on the various topics, and, that depends a lot about public outreach and those kind of things. I mean, if you just throw it on the next available election, who knows what the results are. If you want to have more lead time to talk about it, then that's kind of a political
And if everybody
question.
isn't on board, your odds of passing are gonna be pretty slim. And I could tell you,
Yeah, we tried before,
yeah,
and it didn't
and I'm
work.
telling you right now, I can't go to the public and ask for it because we haven't done our job first. I won't go to the public, I'm gonna say it that way. Last time, I ended up kinda half supporting it just to try and save our face a little bit because it went out with another department. They wanted it, and we put together a committee and then pulled back, and we're left kinda holding the bag a little bit on that one. I don't wanna do this, so I'm coming out straight right now and telling you, I'm not gonna be in favor of this one unless we do our job first.
If you'd like, I can consult the auditor's office though, and at least know what the statutory timelines are, so that
Yeah,
you have
that's-
them.
that's
And
really
then
what I was-
you can consider the public outreach timing that would be important for that.
All right.
I'll get you that information.
Thanks, sir, appreciate that.
Anything else?
For the budget, no.
I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chair, I move we adjourn.
Second.
We are adjourned.